Hey, Dirt Magicians. I'm over at Bree's house, and there's this really weird thing that's growing out of a box in her home.
Well, Dee, with the growing season over, I've been experimenting with growing mushrooms. This funky blob that you're looking at is my experiment with lion's mane. So right now we're looking at the second flush, which went beautifully, but the first time round, I made two massive mistakes which ruined my harvest. So this video is all about how to grow lion's mane and learn about the two mistakes I made so that you don't make them.
Wait, lion's mane? Isn't that the super supplement that is really awesome for improving memory, concentration, brain development? You know, I found when I was taking lion's mane, it was so expensive. I bought one bottle, which I invested in, and it was almost about $45, $50, and I only got 25 capsules. So that was almost more than $1 per capsule.
And that's why I picked it to try growing at home. The mushrooms themselves, not the capsules, are really hard to find in stores and they're very expensive. So a mushroom grow kit is actually a very inexpensive way to get lion's mane mushroom. Unfortunately, Dee, I made two big mistakes, as I mentioned, when I was growing them the first time around.
Oh no, what happened?
We gotta go back to the beginning. To start off, Dee, let me show you what's in the mushroom grow kit box. I opened up my mushroom grow kit, and inside I had my mushroom substrate. The substrate is some kind of organic material like compressed wood chips from which the mushrooms grow and take their water nutrients from. It's kind of like a mushroom soil. The kit also includes the inoculated mycelium, which is the equivalent to the mushroom plant roots. This kit also includes the box that the mushrooms will grow in, a spray bottle to mist, the instruction manual, and something that will become very important when we get to my mistakes, which is this humidity tent, which is literally just a clear plastic bag with holes in it. Now that I have all of the components laid out, we need to trigger the growth of the mushrooms. So we do this first by opening the flap on the box. Then we cut an X through the plastic and through the substrate itself. And this creates plastic flaps where we can water, but it'll keep the moisture in. Also, where I've cut this X will trigger where the mushrooms will grow. Make sure to place your kit somewhere with good airflow and light, but not direct sunlight, so not right below a window. Then we will spray it 3 times a day until we start to see the mushrooms forming. While we are waiting for the mushrooms to form, there's someone who wants to introduce themselves.
Oh, who? Who wants to introduce themselves?
The like and subscribe button. Our mission here at Dirt Magicians is to empower millions of people to grow food sustainably while forming connections with each other. If this resonates with you, make sure to hit that button.
Ah yes, that like button helps grow a lot of things, including our channel.
Lion's mane fruit between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius and with a humidity of about 85%. So the house is a great place as it's usually in those thermostat ranges, and if we spray it 3 times a day, that should meet the humidity range.
But Bree, what about the humidity tent?
Great observation, Dee. Wish I had picked up on that when I first started growing this, but when I was reading the instructions, I completely missed the use of the humidity tent. And lion's mane are much more sensitive to humidity than something like oyster mushrooms are. And so when we put this plastic bag over, it actually helps keep the moisture in. And I had completely missed this.
Yikes, what happened?
At first, nothing bad. The primordia, which is the baby mushrooms, started popping up after 3 days, and the flush along the X was coming in really nicely to begin with. But then on day 13, I woke up and the mushrooms had gone completely brown.
Oh no, was it because of the humidity?
So that's what I initially thought. So I put the humidity tent on, I went back to spraying a bunch, and while I did get a little bit more growth in other areas, it eventually turned brown, and where it had started brown, it never stopped being that brown color. So I did some research and I found out I had actually made a second mistake, and I had caused what's called bacterial blotch, which is a disease in the mushrooms. So once the mushrooms started to appear in fruit, I was supposed to spray near the mushrooms but not directly on them. Bacterial blotch occurs because if you spray directly on them, the water on the mushrooms collects and that bacteria grows. And this disease is further exacerbated when it goes from being really wet like that to dry, which would have occurred because I didn't have the humidity tent. So actually, oyster mushrooms are not less susceptible to humidity, it's just they're less susceptible to this disease.
So what exactly does bacterial blotch do?
Bacterial blotch causes that browning that you see, and then also it stops the mushroom growth from occurring. It also starts to slowly degrade the mushroom itself. Fortunately, it is not a human health risk, although I didn't really feel like eating it because it looked gross.
All right, Bree, so let me get this straight. With lion's mane mushroom, you set up a humidity tent, and once the mushrooms start to grow, you don't spray directly on the mushrooms, you actually spray inside the humidity bag, and you spray twice a day.
Correct, Dee. That's how I should have grown them and the mistakes that I made, and doing so would have prevented bacterial blotch. Fortunately, you can get more than one flush of mushrooms from these kits. So I just flipped the substrate around and I did the exact same thing on the opposite side, except for I kept it in the humidity tent, and as soon as I started to see the mushrooms growing, I stopped spraying the substrate itself and just sprayed into the tent. And look at how beautiful the second flush is.
Wow, Bree, you really turned it around. I think I really want to grow lion's mane mushrooms as well, just to save on like the cost of the capsules. So what kit did you buy?
I used the kit from Nature Lion, which we've included in the description box if you're interested in getting it. And it's at no additional cost to yourself, but it supports us.
Cool, I'll look into it.
Also, Dirt Magicians, if you're interested in growing what's supposed to be the easiest mushroom to grow, oyster mushrooms, we have a different video here for you. I still managed to make another different mistake, so make sure to check out the video to learn from my mistakes if you want to grow this mushroom. See you next time, Dirt Magicians.